Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 for this Sunday night. West Ham 3, Liverpool 2 at the London Stadium today in the Premier League. A disappointing result for Liverpool and a disappointing performance, I think, overall. With me this week, I have Kev O'Sullivan, I have Seany, and I have Keith. We're also going to talk about the Alisson, who I think had a shocker today, but we get into it. People might disagree. The red card that was possibly missed in the game, we're going to have a little chat over that as well. We're going to talk all things West Ham versus Liverpool, to be honest. We're going to have a little word about Seany at the end as well, because Seany has flown out to America on Friday morning, I think it was. And hopefully all going well. We're looking for an update from her in the next couple of days. And we're going to talk to you about our new channel that doesn't launch on Tuesday, but we're going to do a show at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night, because you are going to help us as to what we're going to talk about on that show, and we're going to give you an idea of what's going on with it. Lads, we get straight into it. West Ham 3, Liverpool 2, and loads to talk about. But as I always do on a Sunday night, I ask your initial reactions afterwards, without going into the game in too much detail. Just how you feel after the game. I'm going to leave Seany to last because he's fucking fuming. I can see it in him already. Keith, I'll come to you first. How are you feeling, my man?
After the game, like
How are
after
you
the
feeling?
result.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sickener, Gav. It's a sickener. But a few years ago, back in the olden days, I had hair. I was a young buck, out there having his best shot at life. And I used to get bleeding fuming at matches, sort of like Shawnee does now. And I made a vow not to let it ruin my day, not to let it ruin my weekend. So I'm all right. I'm golden. They took me hair out over the years, but yeah, I try to, when the match is over, I try not to dwell on them too much because they drive you bleeding mad. It makes or break you, can make or break your weekend or your week. And to drop points in this game, look, no disrespect. I want to talk about West Ham later. No disrespect to them, but we were so bad today that it's one of the more frustrating ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as West Ham are a good team and they're in good form, I'm very frustrated at Liverpool and how they performed today.
Um, Yeah, that's absolutely and utterly fair. Red Steve doesn't give two fucks about the football. He says, "Evening, Reds. I'm here for the Sienna chat. You can stick your football up your arse." So, if you hang around, come back in about 40 minutes or so, Steve, and then we get into the Sienna stuff. But fair play to you. Kev, overall feelings after the game: West Ham 3, Liverpool 2.
Similar to Keith, I felt sick after it. I didn't watch any of the highlights, didn't watch the interviews, didn't watch the post match reaction, nothing. I turned on the lads from the Red Sea when they did their stuff because to moderate the chat and that, but didn't really get involved in it. I didn't want to hear it because part of me knew that this was coming. And like Keith, sickened at the performance, but not surprised. If that's, I mean, like I said, I felt that this kind of a day was coming. I mean, there's no point in throwing the baby out with the bathwater with it, but it's just disappointing to go out, to lose your unbeaten record like the way we did.
Okay.
Just felt a bit fucking sick after it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. Shawnee, lot of shouts in the chat here that the title race is over for some reason. How do you feel after that? Kev feels that it was coming. Keith has learned to deal with it and move on. But how are you feeling? Because I know you get very upset over very high and very low.
No, I'm not. I'm not upset. Like, but I'm with Kevin in a sense that you could kind of see this coming, and I wouldn't agree with the title race being over. For God's sake, it's November. There's 4 points in it. But one thing I will say is that we do seem to look further and further away from title challengers as the weeks go on. And what I mean by that is, for me, it seems like this team is developing characteristics that I don't really like, and I wouldn't associate with Klopp's Liverpool. Um, After that was like watching Liverpool before we'd signed Van Dijk. Everything just looks nervy. Um, we seem to lack imagination going forward. We are doing the same thing over and over and over again. We looked awful in transition going both ways. We struggled. I think we struggled to recover when they broke with the ball, and we struggled really to get forward when we were breaking with the ball. It was a shit performance, Gav, and it was another shit performance in the way that the second half last Saturday was. We looked scared, we looked timid, and I just think this Liverpool team at this moment in time regardless of the Champions League, we look really, really soft at the moment, and they are not characteristics that you would align with a title winning or a title challenging football team. It's just happened all too many times for me this season. Brentford away, getting to a ding dong. It's like playing cats and dogs at the back. Today, Alisson has a mare, but nobody has the know-how to take responsibility and do something about Antonio, or attack balls that are going into the box. Or we're not looking like Liverpool at the moment. We're scoring loads of goals, but we're conceding far too many. And it's another weekend where we've missed chance to take on the responsibility of putting 2 points or another point onto Chelsea after they dropped points yesterday. And the following week was City getting beaten at home to Palace. So a disappointing block of games for Liverpool in terms of the Premier League. I think the 5-0 against United now is sort of out the window. Means fucking nothing now, because you literally go and drop 2 at home to Brighton, and then you get beaten away comprehensively, let's be honest, by West Ham. They didn't even have to be good today. That's another story.
Do you know something? Ramirez says there it's been coming since the Brentford game for him. It's very frustrating. When we come back after the last international break, we thought we're doing all right in the league. Yeah, we've dropped some points. There was the Brentford game, and there was Chelsea and stuff like that. And I watched us go to Watford and win, Atletico and win. We go to United, we win in the League Cup away to Preston. And it's a real case of what a block of games this could be, because we know there's another international break coming. We know we have Brighton, we have Atletico again, and we have West Ham. Now, West Ham are flying, and I want to give them loads of credit for today, later on, especially with the tactics that they employed and carried out. But we were at Anfield last week, and I said to you, Seany, standing on the Kop, I said to you, they're smelling themselves here. And what I mean by that is that intensity, that want, that need to go and win a ball, to be in the right position, to be well drilled, it just seemed to be fading for me. And we've seen it come back during the week against Atletico. And then it's gone again today for me, And I said to you, sitting in the pub last week after the game, this is probably the kick we need. And it looked like it was the kick we needed when it came to Atletico during the week, because we were on it. We were so intense. We never gave them a minute. We never gave them a second. We were all over them. And we
but the 10 men gave after half an hour.
I know that, but listen, before the half an hour's up, Seany, we're all over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but look,
and it was
the same away to Atletico, and we give up a 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah, but what I'm saying is, for me, performance aside from certain players, I looked at it and I thought to myself, there just seemed to be a bit of, when you have a swagger in a side, but they're really working hard and there's a swagger. This was a swagger without much behind it, if you know what I mean. And looking at it today, I don't think it was a great game of football. Loads of goals, but I don't think it was a great game of football. But Liverpool of old would have just went and took that game away from West Ham, and would have done it by saying, these are in it for a fight, let's fight them, and we know we'll come out on the other side of it. And it just doesn't look there. And we'll talk about the goals later on, because you said something to me afterwards saying just soft and a bit too nice. And I agree with you, but I think part of it is just an overconfidence in, do we need to make that tackle? Do we need to make that track and run? Do we need to do this? And when it falls away, Seany, it's a very thin line between success and failure. That's just the way I see it. There's a lot of people.
I think we're more timid than overconfident. That's the way it seems to me. We seem more timid than overconfident. Like, we were shitting bricks when Brighton were breaking on us last week.
Yeah. And
we were shitting bricks when Brentford were putting balls into the box in that fixture. And it just, I don't know what it is. The back line, their ability to cope with pressure just seems to have disappeared all of a sudden. Because, like you said, the season we win the league, it's 1-1. We get back into the game with the free kick, but you'd know where lads back ourselves. Right, we come out in the second half here, and we'll just put it on these, and we'll ring fence their whole team by attacking and just camping on the edge of that box, and then eventually they break down. But none of that has been there. Like, we just seem to lack that little bit of edge, and then that little bit of belief, and then we're shockingly bad in transition going both ways, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What's the key to that, Paul? What positions are key, would you say, to that? I'd say the
Midfield,
fullbacks.
definitely.
I think the fullbacks have been honking, absolutely stinking. In my opinion, they're a key outlet, and I think they've been so poor. I think Trent has been poor. I think Robertson was absolutely shocking today, but I
Yeah,
think
agree.
they have both maybe not been at their best. Trent still getting assists. He gets a lovely goal today. His all-round play, I don't think, is at the level, and I think everything's breaking down. And you're right, the midfield is the midfield. I thought Oxlade-Chamberlain was okay today, but it's the he wasn't great now, don't get me wrong. But my point here is the ones you expect more of, I thought let us down today.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
was the surprising one.
Yeah,
And
look,
the thing
people
with-
are
the
sorry.
thing with-
People are just saying here. You know, I've seen a couple of people in chat going, "This is all down to not strengthening in the summer." I'm not having that today.
Nah.
I'm
No,
simply
it's
not
not.
because
That's not.
literally
That lets them off the hook.
no. And you know
No,
something,
that's
do you know something that lets a performance off the hook. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But
lazy.
if you look at that team today, you will probably say if you put Thiago in there, you would argue that's Liverpool's strongest side. If you put Thiago in instead of Ox, you could argue.
Yeah.
Now, people would argue maybe Kate for Henderson. Some would argue maybe on form with Sima Caskin in there ahead of Robinson. But overall, on paper, if Thiago goes in there instead of Oxlade-Chamberlain, who wasn't the worst
100%.
midfielder today, by the way, that's Liverpool's strongest side. So you can't come out today and go, "Oh, this is because of the summer and this is because of not strengthening." I don't.
No, it's
Don't
not.
get me wrong. If it was a case of we're down 3 or 4 injuries, you have to bring A, B, C, and D on, and we
Yeah.
don't win. You go, yeah. Do you know what? That's that's starting to show, and it did show. It has shown in games this season, but not today because that's an extremely strong side that he's put out there today. But let's move into the game. It's only 3 minutes old, and West Ham make it 1-0. It's a corner in. Alisson doesn't come. Antonio spends most of the game on the line beside him, and Kev, it's not the best start, but the only talking point around this is it a foul or is it not a foul on Alisson Becker? What do you make of it?
It's not a foul. I mean, goalkeepers went through probably the last 4 or 5 years as a protected species. You can use your hands. You're 6'3", clear everything around you. Alisson was never going to give away a penalty if he took a Bonner's head off, as instead of the ball. He's never give you away a penalty. He was just a bit soft. He was soft and weak, and Alisson has this thing that he doesn't put a striker between him and their forward who's sitting on him to create space so he can come. He likes that space for himself so he can decide whether he goes or stays. Now, the risk is if you come to catch the ball, sometimes, once in a while, they'll either get a flick header like Chelsea did, or you won't get it. And he didn't get it. He went to try to catch it when he should have cleared everything inside, and he screwed up. Right now, I mean, we'll go in on Alisson a fair bit today because he was woeful. He's still an outstanding keeper. Don't get me wrong.
You can absolutely have this conversation as a one-off game
both.
conversation. Yeah,
you can be both.
Yeah.
You can have an absolute mare and still be an outstanding keeper at the same time.
He has these games in him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but saying
I
that,
only said it the other day. Yeah.
saying all of that, the delivery from Fornals was outstanding. It was precision personified. It was inch perfect in the most dangerous of dangerous areas. And he did it twice. It wasn't a fluke. And he's done it a few times this season. His delivery from set pieces is up there. So credit where it's due. The delivery was perfect. Alisson should have come and punched and cleared everything around him. He didn't. And you can call for a foul. Klopp can say it was a foul. No, sorry, I'm not having it. He was just soft. And he was
It was a foul.
I understand where you're coming from with the arm.
Yeah. I think it's a foul. I think the arm. I think Ogbana's arms, he tangles into Alisson and he can't clear the ball. Now, it's a foul, and I think Alisson should clear him out. I'm not trying to absolve Alisson of any blame on this. But I think, as Kev said, keepers are a protected species. And I didn't know that they're not anymore. Do you know what I mean? So if you can't challenge a keeper like that, you tie them up, in my opinion. But Alisson was not commanding enough. The problem Alisson has in that is he's just watching.
Stephen says there, it's not a foul, but it's normally given against the attacker. Once they're consistent, I'm fine with it. And I think that's where the argument might come in. I think all things being equal, Keith, I'd look at that in in a normal fellow watching a game of football, I go, "Would just stop? The keeper should be stronger than
Yeah.
that." But
I should
when
be.
you look
100%.
at the way the game is refereed, you look and go,
Yeah.
"He's definitely given that."
But I think
Yeah.
if Alisson actually commits there and cleans the ball out, with Agbonna putting his arm out the way he did, they would have clashed. Alisson ends up in the deck. So the catch-22 is he either misses the ball and gets clattered and ends up in the deck, then it's definitely going to be fouled. He's going to be given as a foul. It's the fact that Alisson was literally never really got up.
He was
And
too busy looking at Antonio. He was too busy
he
with
never
Antonio.
got up. And he like, it didn't even look like a foul. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, do you ever get when a striker gets clipped and you say, go down there? If he had went down, he probably would have blown for a free. Because once the ref's looking in and sees a fracas and he's on the ground, he probably blows for a free. You know what I mean? But the fact that
looking at it, I thought the fact that they looked at it, it's going to be given because of the arm going up. I was surprised that it wasn't. But in saying that, that is not to justify. I think Alisson is poor on that because, as the lads have all said, you have to come out and just commit yourself to that. As Seany said, if you go down, you know, in any contact, it's a free. If you do nothing like what you done, you're never getting a free on that. And it's the consistency. It's exactly right.
Brian Murphy says 100% a foul on Alisson. How can a forward use their arms to stop a goalkeeper playing the ball legally with his hands or arms? That's the consistency thing. But again, Brian, for me, like, you know, look, if I'm looking at that in the neutral, I just go, I'm the sort of fella that goes, I'm entitled to jump up there and try challenge for a ball. And everyone has to lift their arms up to challenge for a ball. You know how it works. You see when a striker elbows a defender, but they're just about going for it. You have to use your arms to get yourself up in the air. But when it comes to goalkeepers, if your arms go up at all, the goalkeeper's getting the free. A bit like, do you remember the one De Gea and Van Dijk and Anfield going back the season before last? And Gary Neville is adamant that it's not a free because Van Dijk jumps and his arms aren't up in the air. But the free is given because he impedes David De Gea. Whereas I'm looking at that one today and I think it goes back to consistency where you go, well, his arms are up in the air and he has to do that. But the guy is coming out with his arms to try punch a ball. His elbow's in his face as he's trying to do it. You could argue both ways, but I agree.
And I think he's being obstructed as well.
Yeah, he is being obstructed.
The other side of it
He
is
gets a little nudge in the back. But to be honest with you, I'm all for, as Kev said earlier, come out and hit the ball, him and anybody else that's around in the immediate area, and nothing's going to happen to you because you're allowed to use your fists on that ball. If they want to get in the way of it, fair play. But I
mean, the thing is, look,
he
had a clear sight of it. The VR ref would have said, "Look, this is what happened." He'll have turned around and said, "I agree. That's what I saw." That's the end of the discussion. Then they moved it on to see whether it was a handball. It wasn't. Yeah. So, you know, he decided that that's what he saw. So he's not going to go over. I mean, Paulson had a fucking shocker. I mean, he was awful. He was awful today, and we'll get on to a few of his decisions later on. But at the same time, he was never going to overrule himself because he saw it, and you could see his clear line of sight. He's not going to have a clear line of sight on the camera, and then be told, "No, your eyes are playing tricks on you." You know, so as long as it wasn't handball, it was always going to be there.
The only thing that's, I know he sees it, and he makes that call, and they go to VAR, but the only thing they could have said to him was, yeah, look, his arm is in his face. His arm is in his face as he's trying to hit it. And then it's down to, is the keeper strong enough or not? David Ennis says the keeper going with his hands. The keeper should catch that 99 times out of 100. Not strong enough in his opinion. So, look, there's loads of mixed things in there. And I think the biggest thing to come out of it is probably that comment from earlier about consistency. And, like, if that happens next... And I actually remember one with Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Old Trafford against David De Gea. And it's a bit similar to that one today. And the goal is given. You know, the sort of way. So maybe it's a consistency thing.
But De Gea never comes anyway. So he's always susceptible to this kind of a decision. So in the next month or so, I'm sure it'll happen again.
Oh, well, it'll come up a bit more again.
Then we'll see.
It's like asking the bleeding turkeys to vote for Christmas. It's like asking the turkeys to vote for Christmas. Like, you're just not
fucking vote for Christmas because I fucking want my turkey.
Yeah.
So, carried away. I had a shit enough birthday as it is. They're not ruining my fucking Christmas.
But look, it's one of those. 400 or so people watching. Please hit the like button. 72 of you have so far. I'm being instructed to say this thing every show, and if I don't, I don't know what happens to me. people give out to me. But they'll hit the like button now or on your way out, wherever it might be. It helps us a lot. Leave comments afterwards as well if you want, and whatever you can do to help. You know, we're here to chat and we're here to talk. And if you want to follow, subscribe, and all, go ahead and do that if you enjoy what we're doing. But look, it's 1-0. It's a bad start, and Seany, we equalised on 41 minutes, I think it is. But how do you feel we reacted? How do you feel did we get
After the goal?
Yeah, how do you feel we reacted to the goal? Reacted, played? What do you think?
I thought like from literally the half an hour point on, I thought, all right, there's a bit of consistent pressure here. I thought Robertson was deplorable. He had me hair pulling me hair out today, and he was the very, very same against Brighton, where it's just there's not enough on the cross. He's literally setting them up for counters. Like he was shocking today, honestly. And we will get Alisson's getting a bit of a bashing at the moment. And that, look, Alisson has credit in the bank. He'll win you more points than he costs you over the course of the season, and that's fair enough. And Robertson as well, his levels have been incredibly high since he's broke into the team years and years ago. I was surprised Tsimikas didn't start today, Gav, to be honest with you, because Robertson just has not been on it. And we were at the Brighton game and we seeing ourselves just the amount of times he was leaving passes short and he wasn't getting around quick enough defensively one-on-one. He wasn't great. And his crossing today, his final ball was awful. He was literally setting them up for counter-attacks more often than not.
Do you feel like they were instruction? Do you feel like it was instruction that he kept pulling them back to the edge of the box? Because every cross seemed to be getting cut back. And when if they're not hitting where they're meant to hit, as you say, West Ham can break. Do you know what I mean? If we're hitting behind all our forwards, it must have been an instruction, or is he just gone to shit with his crossing?
I find most of the time when Robertson gets into them positions, he seems to just play off instinct. Like the ball always seems to be off the cuff, whether he goes to the back stick or drills it into the front post. But today he was just pulling the one back across, and there wasn't one of our attackers within 5 yards, but there was not. Our midfielders weren't even attacking them. So that's why I was starting to think, like, Jesus, after the second or third time, like, kind of fucking use your head and try something different, maybe cut back inside. And look, but we literally it was like banging our heads off the wall all the time and expecting a different result. And he killed us today, to be honest with you. He was deplorable, I thought. He really let us down because they were literally waiting, saying they were just springing on us then as soon as the ball was coming back from his cross, because we hadn't got a lot from them. And I'm not surprised that the goal that we get comes from a set piece, to be honest with you. And then you have Origi's, which is in the dying minutes of the game, and you're looking, they probably just switch off, you know what I mean? So I think Robertson killed us today, and after the international break, I would probably look now. Tsimikas should be actually like asking questions now, saying, "All right, so what have I got to do to start?" Because he was the best player on the park for us against Atletico at home, and he's been very good when he come in. Now, I'm not asking bleeding for Robbo to be completely bombed out of the squad and not get a game again and sold, but like he probably just needs to be taken out, because I thought Tsimikas' form would have had light in the fire under him, and maybe like just kind of maintain his focus. And but it seems to be doing the opposite. He seems to be struggling. I don't know what it is, but it's unlike him. But it's becoming very, very frustrating because he was shocking against Brighton, and he was even worse again today.
I think he looks fatigued. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I keep going back to when I look at Liverpool players over the last 3-4 years, 2 probably in particular, it's their running power, it's their decision making, it's their intensity. And Robertson against Brighton for me just looked, you know, when you say a player looks a yard off it, he just looked like he was wandering, you know, looking for something to do, and he just seemed mentally off. I think he's fatigued, and the international break isn't going to help him. He's the captain of Scotland. They're going to want him to play every game. Now, unless Klopp is going to get into someone's ear here and say, right, I don't know if they have 2 qualifiers or they've a friendly somewhere, and if he can get in and say, right, you can play that, can you get him off for this one? And I think he needs genuinely a rest. And you know something, it might be a bit of pressure on him as well, because I think Tsimikas has been very, very impressive. And if you watch Tsimikas crosses, it's the variation on them. He'll cut some back, he'll drill some, he'll whip some, he'll just stance them up at the back post. He's a great variation in what he does. And not only from say 20 yards from goal, byline.
The other one's from deeper as well.
It doesn't really matter yet to Tsimikas. He seems to have that variation. Whereas I think Robertson probably has a better engine in him. It's probably tactically a little bit better at this moment than Tsimikas. But it might be just a few different things with Andy Robertson. Now listen, that's not to say Andy Robertson doesn't come back and just go on another mad run of being absolutely brilliant, because he's been unfucking believable for 4 years for Liverpool, and I mean unfucking believable. But at times you have to turn around and say, you know what, he's a massive player in this squad. He's a captain of his country. He's one of the leaders of Liverpool. But sometimes you do need to drop them out and say, you know what, a couple of weeks off, no harm to you. You'll be back in a couple of weeks. But it also helps Tsimikas as well. Kev, just on Robertson.
It's not just Robertson. It's not just Robertson for me. It was once they went 1-0 up, they allowed us to have the ball. They said, right, you can come and try and break us down now. And we didn't work their keeper anywhere near enough. We dominated the ball because they allowed us to dominate the ball. And they controlled the pace. We had the ball, but they controlled where we had it, how we had it, and what we did when we had it. We were allowed to have it wide because they felt there was no danger. They trusted their centre-backs to deal with anything that came across. They trusted their midfield to be compact and tight. Nothing went through the middle. Everything had to come wide. And we kept trying to force it through the middle. And there was just no invention there. There was no spark, And for all the hullabaloo about Robertson, yeah, he wasn't great. I don't think anyone stood out in that first half for anything other than the set piece, the free kick. Yeah, it was lovely. It was a nice finish in that. But at the end of the day, they allowed us to have the ball. That was it. And if we made a stupid mistake, we were going to get countered. But they were comfortable. At 1-0, they were happy. They were comfortable in their own skin. And you could tell, as soon as we got the goal, they came out and said, right, well, we have to come and play again now. And the game changed. On a sixpence, as soon as we scored, the game changed again. And they decided to come out and attack us a bit more. So
because West Ham
we had no control. We had no control today whatsoever.
Yeah, because West Ham know they're not as good as side of Liverpool. And if they go toot and nail them for 90 minutes, they won't win it. And we get to their tactics later, because I thought you have to give them massive credit. And as much as it kills me to give David Moyes credit, you have to, because I think what he done today was excellent. But getting on to the goal, Keith, Trent's free.
Before we get on to that, are we
you
leaving this red card? No, are we leaving this red card?
Sorry, I'm not leaving the red card. Sorry, I'm completely. You see, I'm very worried here. Can I explain why I'm worried? Because at 17 minutes to 10, I found some drink in the house, right? And they weren't in the fridge. There was an array of Heineken, Canadian.
Do you still make that, do you?
Yeah, I still make it. I robbed it out of a communion party. I was at a couple of weeks ago. And
6 Hail Marys for you.
There was other stuff. I'm an atheist. Don't worry about it. And then the other stuff, Corona, and then there was one can of Guinness, which I'm not going to use. I'll keep it for a special occasion. And I literally had 17 minutes to try and freeze them. So I'm trying to pick a point where I can leave here now, because I've already slaughtered 2 of these bottles. So I'm trying to see when I can get out of here to go and get my other 2 in the freezer. So that's why my head's all over the place. But, Keith, I'll let you go then. This possible red card, I'm going to be straight out there. It's a red card. And I say it with... I say it with... the caveat that West Ham are brilliant today. This isn't me sour grapes and stuff like that. I'm looking at as a incident. It's a red card. Keith, agree or disagree?
I'll agree all day long. It's reckless. It's dangerous. It's reviewed. How it's not seen as a red card is beyond me. Jack Wilshere's take that it happens too early in the game. I mean, surely that's a lot of bollocks now. Surely those days. I mean, look at that. That's a high scissors tackle. Like, no matter what way you try and dress that up, that's reckless and it's dangerous and it's out of control.
Yeah.
Now,
you're never going to send him up after 5 minutes, though.
That does 10 minutes into a game, Sean, when you have VAR, like that is it devalues the whole thing, but it shouldn't. If you do a tackle like that after 1 minute, you should be sent off.
Exactly, it comes down to consistency again, though. Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
It's if that happens in the 85th minute, he's gone. If that happens when Liverpool are 2 or 3 up, he's gone. the refs do think about these things. Do you get me?
Yeah,
And he had to get out of jail free card, because if you actually look, Cresswell touches the ball before he catches Henderson. So that's his way of saying, well, he actually made contact. And look, I agree. I think there's a red as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the ref had a way out there, and he fucking took it when he
I
could.
thought Cresswell slipped and missed the ball and carried on his foot into Henderson.
But it's the scissors as well.
Yeah,
but
I mean?
Yeah, it
But
was
you
just
see,
his
the thing
feet
is,
went
but-
from.
but
I think
this-
his feet went from under him.
Yeah, but
Whether
this is where
doesn't
this
matter.
Is
It's
where,
still a red, like.
Yeah, but this is where, like, all this talk of 5 minutes in or 1 minute in should be irrelevant. The referee sees something or doesn't see something, and either he talks to the VAR and says, "Can you have a look?" or VAR come back and say, "We're just having a look at this tackle." Right now, VAR in my mind should look at that and go, "Listen, he has made contact with the ball, but we've slowed this down. He's off the fucking ground. He's horizontal, and his left leg is literally, his left foot is literally making contact on the top of Jordan Henderson's knee. You must send him off." Right? Because it does. Listen, come here and I tell you, if you injure someone like, now we're very lucky to get away with Henderson, but it makes no difference whether you injure him in the 9th minute or the 89th minute.
Agree, 100%.
You've done it. Now I don't think I will.
But they
say
make these decisions based on the context of the game.
But then there's no point in them, because you can't make it in the context of the game. You must make it in the rules of the game. And we seen with Pogba a couple of weeks ago. Pogba goes in, and what is it? It's reckless. He's out of control. Now I will say something for Cresswell. I'm a little bit with you, Kev. I don't think he goes out to harm him, but at the same time he goes over that ball, and that's where you can see the freeze frame. He's off the ground. He's horizontal. It's most definitely a red card.
It's down to being too nice again. Air players should be fucking all over.
All right, if I'm a Liverpool player there, I'm literally pulling. I'm reefing Cresswell around the pitch.
And we don't do it. We're way too fucking nice. I'm sick of us winning this UEFA thing every year. Like, fucking means nothing. It doesn't mean jaw. What do you get for it? Nothing. And I know it's against clubs, but players should be like fucking all over the ref. We're going to talk about the goals. Like the second fucking goal, Fornals goes past Fordham, clatter him.
Yeah. Someone has to smash him.
Keith, you think it's a red. Kev, you think it's a red.
Yeah, it's a red.
Shawnee, you think it's a red, but the context of the game, they're going to.
I know why they didn't give it. It's 100% a red, but I'm not turning around going, I can't believe they didn't give that, because I fucking can't believe they didn't give it, because they have form of doing this, Gav.
Yeah.
This is how they operate. This is exactly how they operate.
He got up pretty quick. He didn't need to trade. He didn't need anyone to come on, and he got up pretty quick, and the game just carried on.
Yeah, Courtney says there,
Henderson bailed him out.
Courtney says there, Cresswell didn't mean it, but it's still reckless. I think that's perfectly
exactly.
It is,
yeah. And a few people have said that in the chat. It's not malicious, but it's still reckless because he's left, and it doesn't matter what he's done with touching the ball. He has his body in that position, and in order to get yourself in that position, you have to go with some force, and you have to put yourself in that position. It's as simple as that. But it's definitely a red, and I think we all agree.
But I wonder, did the players get into their head after the goal and the red card? That's only in the first 10 minutes. You know, are they not feeling sorry for themselves? But like, did they lose focus? Because the ref, I think, is a stinker. And anyway, at the best of times, the VAR, I don't know who was on VAR, but do the players start to think it's one of these, feel sorry for themselves, poor me? Remember Villa bounced off us last year and we should have got a penalty on Salah and we didn't get it and the heads all went to shit. I don't know if we just, you know, sometimes you expect when things are going against you, it fires you up, and it didn't seem to fire us up at all today. Didn't fire us up at all.
I'm with a few people. Like, a few people in the chat are saying, one of them says it's not a red. He plays the ball and he continues over it. That's the key thing. He goes over it. He goes over it. And there's no booking, there's no foul. But I kind of get where Shawnee's coming from as well, because if I'm on that pitch and I see that happen, I'm literally either all over the ref in his face, or I'm literally grabbing hold of Cresswell by the throat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I'm making it known that what you've done is appalling. And I think, you know what, I hear Shawnee's point, and I don't agree the context of it, as in they're reffing it and it's 9 minutes into the game. But there might be something there where they go, But you know what?
The rest of the lads don't think it's that bad.
The reaction, this and the reaction, and they can be swayed by that. But having said that, the rules of the game are if you're reckless and out of control and over the ball and making contact with your studs, well, the fella's standing there, if you're making contact with your studs to his knee, forget it. It's game over. Like, you could genuinely be looking at another Virgil van Dijk injury. You could, yeah, it is serious foul play. Dangerous play, I think, is the one.
But again, the context thing is the same as the Van Dijk one. Look at when that happened in the game against Everton. So they have previous to doing this, Gav. The way they seen it, we don't want to ruin the game, the flow of the game. It's literally, imagine the commentary now if we're 1-0 down and he sends him off for that, and it's the game's ruined now. That's the way they view it. That's the way they think about it.
That's not what they're for.
But Gav,
I agree with you, but it's wrong.
Expecting them to be competent, they're just not going to be. You know what I mean?
Ant Mac 13 says, and this is a good point. Strike, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Didn't mean to hurt Elliot, but it was reckless. It was 100% the red. Yeah, you go back to that one.
Yeah,
and that's much less of a tackle. But again, he's off the ground. He's nearly horizontal, and he
gets the ball as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's in the back of someone. He's out of control, and he's hurting someone. So look, that's the way it goes. But let's move on. Kev, I'll come to you. Because Liverpool equalised with a brilliant free kick from Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I was delighted with it. Of course I was. It was a goal. But it was 41 minutes. You're looking towards half-time and you're thinking, yeah, we've had one against us. We might feel a bit hard done by with the Alisson thing. We might feel a bit hard done by with a possible red card. But it's 1-1. We're back in it. And I genuinely thought when that went in, the Liverpool would push on.
I thought as soon as that went in, get to half-time. So, right, whatever was wrong in the first half, it's one thing this season Klopp has been pretty good at, is sorting it out. At halftime, putting some kind of a tactical tweak and coming out stronger in the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half. And that's all right. Because I just tweeted at halftime, so keep doing what we're doing, keep the ball, move it, keep the pressure on, pin them in. It will come. Relax. No big deal. And the opposite happened. They come out and West Ham decided, right, well, no, we're going to play. And they did. West Ham dominated the ball and started running at us and creating chances, creating overloads at different parts of the pitch. And we just look sheepish and soft and weak. And it was almost a case of, hang on, we're Liverpool, you're not meant to be doing this. You know, it was almost like, well, Mo will bail us out, or Sadio will do something and Sadio will bail us out. And it just didn't happen. It wasn't happening. No matter everything they tried today, it didn't work. And people can cry and bitch and moan and talk about transfers and this player should have played and that player should have played. I saw that lineup at the start of the game today. I was delighted. I was happy enough with everything. That was our best back five. It was pretty much the strongest midfield. Thiago couldn't play. He had a 20-minute run around against Atletico in a soft game that was over by the time he came on after 6 weeks off. He wasn't starting today. And it was our strongest front three. There was no complaints about the lineup. We were just done by a better side on the day. And they were very good. I mean, West Ham were very effective at what they do. And at home, they're a very strong side. And if you allow them to play, which we did, they can play. And they're very, very good at what they do. And they showed it. Now, saying that, they had 2 goals that were gifted to them. And one was, we just almost held out the red carpet and allowed them to waltz through a midfield. And the sickener with that one, for me, was we were about to make a substitution. Ox was going off. Kick him in the back of the fucking leg. Take the yellow. Bring him down.
Yeah.
Be a snide little fucker. You're going off anyway. Take the booking and go away. You did all right today. He wasn't brilliant. He wasn't bad. He wasn't the worst of them by a long shot. But take the fucking yellow. They could see what they were doing. He went through the lot. And no one got a touch.
Well, do you know something? You say he goes through that, right? And you know, Trent's goal, just to go back on it, I like the way it's worked. It's something different because you usually look at Trent hitting the ball dead from the area, you know, from the original spot. And King Hoddle, I think it's Glenn Hoddle, he's trying to make out he's not Glenn, but how are you, Glenn? He says, great free kick, even Hoddle would have been proud of that, so nice one, Glenn. I hope you're well. It's a brilliant free kick, and I think
Lovely
we push on.
whipping it, like.
But going on to the second one, right, because let's push on to the second one.
Yeah.
Before we move to this half, can I just
God,
very
God, he
quickly
does
say,
this all the time.
very
Go on,
quickly,
go on.
very quickly, I didn't realise Craig Pawson was the ref in the Leeds game as well, and didn't give the foul on Harvey Elliott until people said there was interference. So I wonder if that played in his mind. Sorry, that wasn't even a red card today, and I'm going on and on about it, but it just threw me head in. You know, I forgot that he was the ref that time as well.
All right,
so move on. Second half.
Point. Second half. The second goal, because like Seany said it earlier, you just hit him. Kev says there, like, Ox is going off, take the yellow. But I have to be honest with you, lads. I'm looking at the back four going, what the fuck are you at? And I'll tell you why. Because a back four, for me, never pushes high if there's no pressure on the ball. Never. You don't push up if there's no pressure on the ball because you're leaving yourself open, right? And that's exactly what they do. Right, I get the whole thing. He's running and Bowen is running and he's running in on that channel and stuff like that. Where are the defenders going? What do they think they're going to achieve by pushing up? All they're doing is making his mind up for him. Now, if they drop and go, let's see if he actually gets past this midfield and is actually in on us, then make a decision. I could not understand the life of me, the two centre-halves. Trent is up the pitch.
Yeah.
But, Shawnee, I'll come to you. I can't understand for the life of me how them centre-halves decide that the best thing to do there is to press the ball when this guy is running full tilt, with nobody going near him, and pressing it. Just keep dropping. Keep dropping until you make a decision.
It's definitely a systematic thing because literally the goal against Atletico is the exact same. It's literally the exact same except for it doesn't come down through the middle. It's down there left side where Joe Felix skips past three and the two centre-halves step up and it's literally just one little ball in behind and we're done. Like, I don't know what... It definitely seems to, because I just feel like way too many times this season we've looked where we're actually 2-on-2. It's 2-on-2, loads of situations where there's two attackers breaking on both of our centre-halves. And normally the flag goes up and we play the offside well or whatever, but like you said, just fucking drop. Just drop. Force him to make a decision. Fornals literally was through the clear. It was like a horse jumping over a fence. He rode the tackles in the middle and next of all, he's out in the clear. And then getting onto the other, you get onto the goalkeeper. He's shocking. Alisson is shocking for the second goal as well. He's crap, and that's normally what you back. If you say to me, a striker bearing down on goal, and it's 1-on-1, pick your goalkeeper, and I'm picking Alisson all day, every day, but he just doesn't deal with it. His hands are like lettuce, and it just goes underneath him. It's not good enough, Gav. Way too easy to create chances with.
The goalkeeper thing, I get you. Like, it's not the best shot in the world, and it's like he gets a hand to it, and he should have two hands to it. But what I'm saying is, for me, and I get the goalkeeper stuff, and I get the midfielder stuff, you should hit him. You should take him out, especially if it's Ox. Yeah, I know he's going off. Hit him, take a yellow, get off the pitch. It's 1-1, and we bring on Thiago, and we look to keep control of the ball and open them up and create chances. The goalkeeper doesn't cover himself in glory because he should save it. Simple as that. It should be a fairly simple save from actually. But the centre-halves, for me, as good as they are, right, or as much as they back themselves, are in no man's land. And make the decision for Bowen as to where he's put it. And also create the space for Fornals to run into by pushing up. Them two should look immediately when he's on the ball and go, right, Trent's up the pitch, right? So we need to drop off here and nearly start feeding ourselves to the right-hand side because the only ball he has. And if they drop in that 2 or 3 seconds, even if the ball gets to Fornals, he's probably on the edge of the box. He probably has a centre-half closer to him. And then he has a keeper beyond him who's set as well. I just couldn't understand the decision that was made. But we go 2-1 down. It's a load of errors from start to finish. It's not being ruthless enough. It's not being positionally aware, and the goalkeeper just isn't good enough. That's it. It's as simple as that. But the third one, and they make it 3-1, and Keith, I'll come to you. How in the name of Jesus is Kurt Zouma making a run to the back post from a corner from the far side of the pitch, and nobody's paying him a blind bit of attention?
So frustrating, because West Ham were the second half. West Ham come out and they're on top. You know what I mean? So they have us on the ropes. They bloodied their nose with the second goal, and we've let them. You know, Kev touched on it earlier about the delivery by Fornals. You're giving up these chances to him, and we're still not copping on. Like, again, Alisson is focusing on Antonio in the bleeding box. Now, I know Antonio is going to him, but Alisson needs to then be bleeding, howling at the ref, saying, "Yeah, get him the fuck away from me. He's standing on my toes, he's elbowing me, he's doing this and he's doing that." And he wasn't doing that. He was letting them crowd him. But then, the marking, like, Kurt Zoom is what, 6'3", 6'4", big
lad,
unit.
yeah.
Centre back. You know what? He's getting an aerial threat on this. Who was marking him? Mane? Mane lets him run, does he?
No, well, Trent is there having a good look at him while he runs in.
They're all having a good look at him as he just saunters by them all. Do you know what I mean? Like the bleeding Red Sea part and let him through. I just couldn't understand it. One of the things that, you know, under Klopp, obviously it improved. And when Virgil comes in, bang, that was it. The catalyst for improving our defence. It's gone and got better and better. Start of this season, I thought, defensively, we look all right. Virgil's back. We're all solid. Everybody's picking her up. The cracks are there now. The cracks are back in. Seany touched on this, that it's very much, you know, Dejan Lovren here, the Liverpool defending, the Skirtle and Lovren axis at the back, and or the Sacco and whoever the fuck else you want it to be. It's very easy to get in against us now. How we've let Kurt Zouma go, and it's not like he's just come in, made a run and had a bullet header and people are standing around. This thing floats to the back stick, and there's nobody in fucking...
Oh, it's infuriating.
It's one of the most infuriating goals you'll ever see conceded. That is schoolboy stuff, and we've...
You watch the replay of it and you'll see from the camera angle, look at Fornals all the way across the pitch.
Yeah.
And Trent stood there watching the whole thing. He can see the full flight of the ball. He's not on the post. People can blame Alisson all they like. It's fuck all to do with Alisson. That ball was too far out for Alisson to come and claim it. It was coming too quick, and the angle that Fornals hit it at, it was going away from Alisson if he tried to come. So it wasn't him. Trent sat there. He can see the flight of the ball. He can see the runner coming in at him. All he had to do was get between Zouma and the ball. He didn't have to go and win the ball. He just had to stop Zouma from jumping. That's all he had to do. And he stood there and he watched the whole thing. And it just happened. And it was almost a case of, oh, okay, so that's done. And there was nothing. It was just a complete clusterfuck.
Chris makes a point here. He said it's not personal errors he feels, but more a tactical thing for him.
It's not personal.
I'm with him on that because you're either man marking Kurt Zouma, who's he's probably the biggest player, the tallest player.
He
right? He's up there.
Especially without Bono going
off. Without Bono gone off, he's up there, right? Mm-hmm. But you're either man marking him, or don't even attempt to tell me that where he heads that ball is not a zone that you're meant to be standing in. Simply not happening. Because it's not like he arrives at the back post, he's outside the back post when he heads it, up there or thereabouts, right? But you can't tell me that a zone that you mark isn't somewhere between the middle of the goal and the back post is not a zone that you mark. And there was nobody there. So if you're man marking him, who's doing it? And if you're zonally marking, who's in the fucking zone? And I'm like, Trent looks appalling for it because he's too far out of the way.
He's on his phone at the back post.
Is that his own? But he's looking at the back post. He's probably 10 yards off the line outside of the post. It's a weird place for him to be. Yeah. But where he heads that, or where you could cut it out, is most definitely a zone. On line with the post, 6 yards from goal. If you're in that zone, you're heading it away. Simple as that. And I agree with Chris. I think it's a tactical thing. And again, I think it goes back to just not switched on as we
personal responsibility.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's personal responsibility at the end of the day.
Would you put it on the goalkeeper, Seany, on that one?
No, because there's a number of mistakes before it gets to where Alisson is to blame. Mm-hmm. So it should never get there. You know what I mean? If Alisson's coming and claiming that he's only getting a touch on it anyway, he's not catching that. You know what I mean? It's just... I don't know. It's so fucking unlike us. And you know what? It's probably not unlike it because we just seem soft again, Gav. It's just soft. It's the most infuriating goal we've conceded this season
It's
because
the worst thing you can say about a side.
yeah, it's just
You know,
soft. It's just
it's the worst thing you can say about a side that you're easy to get at, that you're
the
nice.
ball.
You
Yeah,
know, and
it's the
we're
same
all
with
of that at the minute.
yeah. Brentford, the balls into the box, not dealing with them, and then when the balls are dropping, just not knowing what to do. It's panic. You know, like. And that's just not like us. Well, it sort of is at the moment. So, and that's the worry for me is that this seems to be creeping in, and we need a fucking shake up. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I
Well,
don't know what to say. It's just fucking. And you are gonna give West Ham a lot of credit. I don't even think they were fucking great there. I don't even think they had to be great today.
no, well, I'll tell you, there's a comment here from Mark Douglas. I think he's a West Ham fan because I'm nearly sure. Yeah, he is. He says West Ham worked harder, were more organised, and were more dangerous, particularly in the second half. We were better today. Come on, you Irons. Is what that stands for. And before we go on to Origi's goal, I do want to give them credit, Shawnee, and I don't think they had to be great.
No, I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think.
they're shy.
No,
Like
no,
they
no.
were,
I know you're
better
not.
than us. I
They
agree
were
with
better
that.
than
But
us. But I wanted to talk
they'll have
about.
harder games than that this season, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shouldn't be.
and
You
lose
shouldn't be
them.
saying that. Yeah, you shouldn't be saying that about
Do you know?
Liverpool on the road.
Do you know why
Yeah.
they'll have harder games this season? Because I think teams will know what they're going to try do, and will be ready for it, and will implement their own kind of tactics against it. I just felt that
Why didn't we?
Liverpool. Yeah, I just felt like we didn't. Like Mark, you're welcome to the chat. I've never seen you in here before. You're a West Ham fan. You're very welcome. But I have to give credit to West Ham, and the reason being is, I know by watching that game, West Ham know they're not as good as Liverpool. I know if they go toe to toe to Liverpool, they don't stand a chance, right? Because Liverpool will eat them up, right? Especially going forward, they'll eat them up. But what West Ham done was they came out and got the early goal, which is a bonus for them. Next 25 minutes, I thought they done well. I thought Liverpool, like I think you're right, Sean. I think Liverpool took control then of the game, the proceedings, and get that 1-1. But West Ham, like Kev said earlier, then now they have to come back out and play. But what did he do? The way they go back out and play is they turn around and they say to themselves, right, let's keep it solid, but we're going to be a bit more adventurous when we get it. I.e. Bone running with it 20, 30, 40 yards and look to capitalise. So they were looking to either capitalise on counter-attacks or set pieces. And listen, they've every right to do that. And they've done it extremely well today. I have to say, they've done it extremely, extremely well. And you know what? I don't want to belittle them because I look at some of the players on the West Ham side and I think, do you know what? They're actually starting to show that bit of form and that bit of, I suppose, you know, you've seen players come in and you say, what's he like? He could be good. And they're starting to show that form. They're starting to show for me in that West Ham side. And I think part of that is down to Moyes. I think Moyes can be, you know, a bit of a dog of war and thing, but I think he's starting to get away from that a little bit more. Is where there's more creative players inside than I can ever remember. No, genuinely, there's more. Like I've never seen him go out and a bone. He has Fornals, he has Antonio up front, he has Lanzini to come on. You know, Souček loves getting forward. Yeah. He has that about West Ham at the moment. I haven't seen him on my side in a long time. So I wanted to give I did want to give credit to West Ham because I thought they were excellent today and they deserve
They
their
had a
points.
plan. They had a game plan, and they've come
100%.
out and said it. All their interviews and all, they've come out and said it. We
Yeah.
know Liverpool will leave spaces behind, and we were looking to hit them. And that's what they done. And when you have players like Jared Bowen, who a lot of our fans scoffed at the idea, is that bottle frozen because you're drinking it a bit weird?
No. I'm actually thinking in my mind while I finish this one, how do I get to the fridge now?
Yeah, but when they have players like Bowen, who is good, you know, a lot of our fans scoffed at the idea of signing Bowen. Bowen's a good player. He's good in transitions. He's quick. He's direct. And they were able to move up the pitch very quick. And we were just leaving all these holes. And again, I'm going to put it down to our players. West Ham were good. They had a game plan. They stuck to it and they got their win. But I'm putting them more down to our players were so far off. They shouldn't have got the spaces. They should. Fabinho, I thought, was atrocious today. I thought he was absolutely horrendous. I don't think he done anything of any use for us. In that, he's the one between the midfield and the defence. I think he left too many gaps. And I just think we let them play and let them look better than they had to be. Not than they are, because they're a good team. David Moyes, he had got creative players at Everton. You know, he still had little snoids like Pienaar, who was a good, tricky little player. He had Arteta, Leon Osman, all these fellas, they nip in and get goals. But he does, he's got a lot of skillful players that maybe don't have that bit of snoid about them in this West Ham team. And they're good. And they're
They've
quick
got a
on the
nice
break.
balance.
Yeah, they do, and they have got options, as Gav said. They can bring in players, and they're not all a battering ram team. What we traditionally associate with David Moyes, he's doing a decent job there. I thought he would have stunk the place out. I thought once fans came in, West Ham's bubble had burst, no pun intended, and it hasn't. They've gone on and they've built from that. So yeah, we were beaten today, but we went into a team who are fifth in the league, or what? Fifth or fourth? Fifth. Fourth at the start of the day.
Yep.
So they were fourth in the league, one place behind us, could have overtaken us. They're on a great run. The great win there against Villa, thumped them last week. They're on the crest of a wave
They're on
here
good
at West
form.
Ham.
They're on good form.
And we have gone in there and literally rolled onto our backs and let them tiddle our bellies and just stick a finger wherever they wanted. And it's not good enough. It's not good enough from Liverpool. So West Ham were good. I give them the credit. I think they done well. They did a game plan. They got their result, but we were so poor, and the goals we conceded were so infuriating today.
Yeah.
Liverpool do make a 3-2 on the 83rd minute with Divock Origi.
A hell of a finish.
It was a hell of a finish, but I'm going to go and grab me 2 bottles if that's all right. So I want to ask you 2 questions before I leave, and I'll start with you, Kev, and you can pass it around then before I come back. It is a hell of a finish, and I think that's fair. But what did you make of Klopp's substitutions? Because I think Thiago just doesn't look at the races whatsoever. I think he's. I'd rather him not come on and come on maybe 15 minutes to go. And regardless of what's going on, 15, 20 minutes, I don't.
He came on with 20 to go.
Yeah, no, he comes on with 20 to go, but probably the situation I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? Because he looks a mile off of Kev.
He does, but he's been out for 6 weeks?
Yes, yeah.
So, and when he came on, did we change the system not long after he came on? Because we went to 4-4-2, or was that was when Taki came on?
When Taki came on, yeah.
When Taki came on, it went 4-4-2 and more direct. But for me, Thiago's a 10, and to play him in his best position, he's got to be off a striker or close enough to the striker to link up play. He was taking the ball in safe positions and moving it 10, 20 yards. Some of his passes were really good, into Sadio, who became a 10. But you could tell what the difference in the side when Firmino is playing and when he's not playing. And
Jesus, don't say that.
It is true.
It's because when you zip a ball into Bobby's feet, it generally sticks. And you can play off that, and you can trust him in tight spaces. Whereas even for the second goal, Fabinho plays a ball into Sadio where he's surrounded by 2 or 3 players. It was a stupid decision to play him into that position in the first place. But when Thiago came on, I thought, it was a common sense substitution. It was a safe substitution. Thiago for Ox. The system pretty much stayed the same. But it wasn't until we went 4-4-2, and it wasn't really. It was 2 at the back, when marking your man at the back, and then it was 2-4-4, and it was shit or burst. It was, look, we may as well lose 4-1 trying to get back into it. And who was left on the bench? There was no one really left there. There wasn't an awful lot more he could have done.
No. Tsimikas, Kanate, Nico Williams, Nat Phillips, and Tyler Moore.
You're not going to bring Tsimikas in unless, there was just no point at that stage. It was, if you were going to go to a 4-4-2, you wanted a striker up front. And you're more likely to get some kind of a ricochet or something and Taki getting on the end of it than you are Tsimikas. So I wouldn't be too down on the substitutions. It was just shit day compounded by a soft performance. And Origi aside, because he got his goal, and
Excellent
he
goal.
didn't really, he didn't really do much else after that. But at least for the first time in a while, he looked like a 6'2", 13-stone centre forward. But he's another one that needs run of games. So do you give him a go? And if you do give him a go, who are you going to drop out?
Well,
Could it be any worse?
I made this point during the week. I said that with Firmino out, Minamino or Origi are going to have to step up, and I had people jumping down my throat going, Jota will play, and I was like, yeah, I know Jota will play.
Jota can't play them all.
But you still need, 4.
When one isn't working out, you have to have an option.
You need someone to stand up, and that's where I think it come from. I just don't know if you'll see it from Origi or Minamino. I hope I'm wrong, but it's one of those. I'm going to get man of the matches, obviously, and then I've one last question before we move on to the last bits. So, Seany, man of the match.
Couldn't pick one, Gav, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. No. Okay, you're not giving a man of the match. Keith,
No.
not giving a man of
Same
the match.
answer. No,
Oh my God,
couldn't give any of them. They genuinely, and I'm a positive.
No
I'm positive,
standout.
right? They were garbage today, Gav. They were yellow. They were chicken shits. They didn't put it up. We could have stole that, by the way. And just to say, Origi's goal was an excellent goal. Origi's goal was excellent. Ronaldo scored one similar to that a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was creaming themselves. A little flick over and a volley from the edge of the box. That was an excellent goal by Divock.
Yeah.
And then we could have got the draw if Sadio gets that header.
Yeah.
And we're coming out there after stealing.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve that. We were shy. We were absolute pony today.
Yeah.
So we could have got a draw, and again, we didn't deserve. I don't think any player, and I'm genuinely looking at them all and I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I had a look myself.
Anything. No,
It would have been. People saying in the chat there about that diving header. I mean, look, he was leaning down into it. If he'd have got that on target into the corner, it would have been goal of the month. That was a very difficult finish. Let's be fucking honest about it. We'd have loved to have seen it go in, but that was a really difficult finish. And he missed it by a couple of feet. He just got it on the wrong part of his head. I mean, there's an argument that he should have gone and put his laces through it, but look, it was a good effort at the end. And if we'd have nicked the point, it would have been more relief than anything else. Yeah. But look, we got the kick in the arse, and we got what we deserved out of that today. We got that.
Yeah, you take your licks. You take your licks
like a fucking grown up, and you just move on because there's no point in dwelling in it. There's no point in throwing the baby out with the bathwater either.
A lot of the chat is saying about Virgil for man of the match, but Virgil was meant to be leading the defence, and the defence wasn't very good, so I can't really even give Virgil the flowers on this.
I would have edged towards Trent. I would have edged towards him. No, for the goal,
it was a hell of a free kick, but in fairness, you have to be more than that.
There's something in, and I'm not going to get into it tonight, but there's definitely something in the way, the way he's playing and the positions he's taking up. There's definitely something in him. We've seen that Anfield last week where he's so high up the pitch all the time. And as Seany said, he's not getting back and no one's giving out to him. It's as if, you don't have to go back. You just... But look, it's one of those... Red Steve's trying to get in me good books here. He says, man of the match is Gav Doyle. Same as every week. What a freak. Nice one, Steve. But look, we're not giving out a fucking man of the match. That's it. We've had enough. But look, we have to take stock on it now. We're going into an international break with another 2 weeks off, which means on the Daytrippers that we're going to have loads of fun with quizzes and stuff like that. I'll tell you about a show we're doing tomorrow night as well, me and Phil, which should be the crack. But Seany, I'll come to you. What do we do now? Do we just take stock? Do we look at it? Do we tell each other a few home truths and come back and look to get back to ourselves? Because Seany, we get back to ourselves, it'll take a good side to beat us to this league. I genuinely believe that. But what do you think we do in this international break?
I don't know, Gav. Do you know what? I really don't know, because people saying in the chat there it's not a personnel thing, and I agree. I do think there's a bit of a tactical imbalance in our side at the moment, with the midfield just seem to be leaving the defenders way too exposed. I conceding way too many goals. I don't know. I really don't know, because we're scoring enough goals, but defence wins your titles. And unless we book up our ideas, we won't be near this title. I'm sorry. We just won't, because the way we're trending at the moment is to fall further behind. So we need a fucking rocket somewhere. And
we need new blood.
Yeah,
I think this January
I,
window, a fresh
I think
face. I think a
I
fresh
think
face wouldn't go amiss.
yeah, no, and I don't disagree because look, come January we're going to be missing the two lads who are
Mm-hmm.
scoring and creating all the goals. So look, the likelihood Gav is that it can get fucking worse before it gets better because there just seems to be a systematic chink in our armour at the moment that needs to be rectified somewhere or another. I think the international break is coming at a good time for us, to be honest with you. I know it's never nice going off 2 weeks and on a loss, but I do think we need it. I do think we need to recuperate. I do think we need to get bodies in and around. And look, these international breaks,
Have we a Brazilian issue with this one as well, or what's the story?
but they're
No, we
going
don't.
off to
That's
play,
sorted.
but they're back beforehand. But
Yeah,
um,
that's all sorted now. There's no more red list countries for the UK anymore.
But Tommy
I
C.
just
Tommy C says 3 home games in the bounce next: Arsenal, Porto, Southampton. I
yeah.
think that's
God help
you're gonna have to set a marker on them 3, aren't you?
Yeah, well, we literally have to be looking now, getting into December now, winning every game. We need a sort
Yeah.
of run like that. And the one reason why I'm not panicking, I'm not saying that the title race is over, is because I still know in my heart of hearts that there's only 2 teams in this league that can do the 12, 13 wins on a bounce, and it's us and City. Now, that's us when we're defensively at our best. So
Yeah.
we need to find a little bit of form. We need to shore it up a little bit, and I think the international break will do us good. I
Yeah.
really do. Look,
I wouldn't lose all faith in this side. I mean,
no,
No.
absolutely
And-
not.
and-
It's
and-
4
and I
points.
get-
There's so much football to be played, but there's issues that can be. It'd be worse if you didn't know what was going on. It'd be worse if
yeah, you
you're
can
not
see
getting.
it.
Look, we've been shy and we're getting the results to match. That's just the way football goes. Sometimes you get a bit of luck, sometimes you don't. That can happen.
And there's not a standout team as well. There's nobody so far running away with it. People can say Chelsea. Chelsea will drop points. We'll drop points. City will drop points. City are the ones I'd be more worried about. I know Shawnee says defence wins titles and Chelsea are the defensive team. But once we're going through this shitty phase now, and I agree, I think it's, the defensive solidity or lack of at the moment is worrying, and I think if they can work on that and shore that up, and maybe it is. One thing Alex Ferguson was great at with United, something the lads touched on at the start of the show, maybe about giving Robbo a break. Ferguson always knew when to let his players go and literally say to Ronaldo, fuck off for a holiday. Do you know what I mean? It's not that you're out of the team for 2 weeks. Go on holidays. Relax, recharge your batteries. And maybe, Klopp needs to rest. I mean, I'd imagine these internationals doing my head in. It's gone from this Nations League was meant to reduce the amount of internationals, and we now have international breaks where there's 3 games in 2-week periods. It's fucking mental. It's too much football. So I don't know if we need to literally rest players, and we can't do much with Trent, to be honest. I think he's out of form. He's doing assists and all, but his game isn't great at the moment. We can't really do anything there. But Robbo, we can do. So it'll be interesting to see if we can maybe give people a rest and come back and try and work it back. Thiago comes back slow from injuries. I think we can all accept that now. He's not one that hits the ground
I'm not
running.
worried about Thiago at all,
No.
to be honest with
And
you.
Fabinho is the same. When he comes back from an injury, he tends to take his time getting back up to speed as well. So maybe the international break comes, we get the lads back training again who are staying, and the ones who go away, and hope for the best. I'd be more worried if we were 7 points behind a leader at the moment. It's only 4, and it can happen.
And in fairness, it's a good. Arsenal are a really good team to come back and play. They've got it. They've got it about them at the minute, but they're a lot easier side to play than what West Ham are.
Yeah.
And Arsenal are the kind of side if we lose
to
if they
Arsenal,
believe
if we lose to Arsenal, I'll lose the fucking plot.
yeah, I will throw it.
Genuinely.
I'll lose my shit because they're shite. They're beat who they're supposed to beat, and they've a few good players, but I think they're the kind of side that are actually tailor made for us.
Well, we wait and see.
I said at the start of this window that West Ham was going to be our hardest game, and I was right. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that. United were shite. Spurs, Brighton are decent, but they're okay. But West Ham are good. This version of West Ham are a good side, especially at home. But Arsenal, I think they're perfect for us to come back and absolutely fucking smash them.
Well, I hope we do. But
You know.
you'll never get me conceding any title in November.
No.
Oh Christ, no!
You won't even get me conceding the title in March
Mate,
or April.
same now,
That's
mate.
it's reactionary bollocks. But look, there is alarms. There is
There
one.
is.
There is.
There absolutely is.
Silent alarms
There
at the
is.
moment.
Yeah,
Silent alarms.
it's not a full on alarm. It's your neighbour ringing, going, I think your
Yeah.
alarm's going off. I think that's, and she's
Yeah,
probably just a
it's-
nosy
Oh no,
old bitch
it's
anyway.
only
You know
the
that
bin
sort of
lorry
thing.
reversing. It's only the bin lorry reversing.
Yeah. Are you sure it's my alarm? Yeah, because she's fucking looked in every window, the nosy cow. You know what I mean? But no, at the moment, I'm not giving fuck all up. I absolutely see where you're coming from, though, with regards to the midfield issues defensively, even going forward and transition and stuff like that. And that's definitely something there. But I'd hope that if it falls right for us in this international break, i.e., players go away and come back okay, players that stay with us.
The landscape of the league is going to be a lot different by the time the international break is over as well, because there's going to be 3 or 4 teams and new managers as well.
Yeah.
So
It's all happening.
it's a little bit of a shake-up. And this is
I
normally
was
like...
surprised today, wasn't it? Did you
Yeah.
Did you guys expect that one with Dean Smith?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Is he gone?
He got sacked,
Yeah,
yeah.
he got sacked this morning.
Dean Smith and Daniel Farke both gone today.
I know Farke. Did Dean Smith
Yeah,
get sacked?
Smith got the
Dean
bullet,
Smith got the sack this morning. Yeah.
I wasn't surprised because they spent a lot of money.
That's mental.
And I know
Well, it's not mental,
I know they've
They're only
lost
2 points
Grealish.
above.
Yeah, I know they've lost.
I thought
Grealish.
he had enough. I thought he'd have had enough credit in the bank from last season to turn it around. Like, but this is bloodbath this week for managers.
They're going to get your
This
man
week is
Fonseca.
bloodbath.
But you see, that's the thing,
You think?
because when one sacks one, right, another one looks and goes, well, if we don't move now, the manager we're looking for, they could end up with, you know, and then you have the whole Ole stuff fucking sitting in the background going, is he getting the fucking
He's gone.
bullet?
He's gone.
You know what I mean?
Chris Wilder's gone to Middlesbrough.
Who?
Chris Wilder's
Chris
gone to
Wilder.
Middlesbrough.
Did Wilder take over another job after Sheffield
Yeah,
United?
Warnock resigned, and Chris Wilder's gone to Middlesbrough.
But when Wilder left Sheffield United, he hasn't had another job since.
No, he hasn't. No.
A good appointment, actually, by Middlesbrough.
Tis,
Of course, Brendan is in for the United job now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I told you this week ago, he'll absolutely fit him because he's a
yeah, but of
yes man
course.
that will stand there and tell you all about the heritage of the
But
club. And
the murmurings now is that Ragnick is going to take over until the end of the season, go in as DOF then, and it'll be either Rodgers or Ten Hag. That's apparently that's what a United fan now who would be on the forums and that's saying that's sort of what.
But J81 says Gerrard is the
Interesting.
favourite to take over a Villa. I think if Gerrard takes the Premier League job, he won't get the Liverpool one. But that's just my
Someone
opinion.
said that to me earlier on as well, that Gerrard was quietly being talked about for Villa. Fonseca would be some appointment.
Tommy C.
They have a lot of money, Kev. You know.
They do, yeah. Oh, they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Villa
Yeah,
have
and
some of the
that's why you
third or
get
fourth richest
that's why
owners in
you've got that reaction from Villa, because they're looking at the money they spent, and they're all also looking at the landscape with regards to managers as well. Tommy C says Ollie's looking over his shoulder. If Ollie's looking over his shoulder, the chance are Michael Carragher's the fella turning his head to let him do it, because it's fucking, he can't do anything without fucking having a word in one of them two Egypt's ears. But that's about it for West Ham v Liverpool. Thank fuck. These bottles are freezing, by the way, boys. Just to let you know. And I'm
Great
fucking
news.
I'm over the moon with it. Great work.
On a day of nothing but bad
That
news,
stuff.
Gav. We
Kev is
finished it
absolutely-
off on a high.
Yeah, Kev's lamping Carl and Black Label out, but he's smoking a vape there. Shawnee's just going fucking rash, or I can see it in him. He's gonna fucking explode.
No, I'm actually not. I was worse after the game last Saturday, Gav.
This is therapy, isn't it? This is therapy, though. We always have to crack. So, two things to finish off with. First thing is Sienna's steps. So Sienna set off to America. I want to say Friday morning, but my days are all over the place. But I think it was Friday. So she got treated really well in Dublin Airport by the staff up there for pre-clearance going to America. She was wined and dined, I suppose, before she left. They flew to New York and then on to St. Louis. But she's over there now. I think they come back around the mid-December. But of course, we let you know on Thursday that she'd passed her 120,000 target. It's at 122 now. We can keep going and see how much we can get. But that money now guarantees that she can go over there. Her family can comfortably go over there now. Because you have to remember, it's life-changing stuff for her. But her mother and father now are leaving jobs, taking time out of their jobs. You know, which is not an easy thing to do at the moment. Because of COVID, people don't want to give holidays anymore and, you know, that sort of stuff. But they're going over there. They're there for a month. But they can comfortably go over there now and she's going to get the treatment, A. They have somewhere that they can stay for a month, and it's it's looked after for them, which is brilliant. They'll come back in December. I think it's around December the 10th, but don't quote me. And they'll come back then, and the months of rehabilitation and everything is all covered. And genuinely, I mean this. This is the biggest achievement that this podcast has ever done, and I mean that. And no amount of likes, subscribes, follows, comments, wherever it might be, we appreciate them. Don't get me wrong. Don't take me the wrong way on this. But what's happened with that girl over the last couple of months, and we didn't do it all. Like, there's so many fundraisers and stuff like that. But what has happened there, genuinely, if someone had said to me, "What have you done with a podcast?" I will literally point to that girl and say, "That's what we done." And I genuinely was emotional on Thursday when I seen that figure, and emotional again when I seen her ready to get on the plane for America. And like, if you could do it again, I would. If someone came to me tomorrow and said, "Can you do this?" I would, because it's nearly got to the stage where football is brilliant. Talking about football is brilliant. Having a community like this is brilliant. But doing that for people is just, you've no idea. It's just unbelievable.
It's using your platform for a positive reason. It's not for self-gain. It's not for, self-interest or anything like that. I was the same, Gav. I was very emotional when we saw that. And I know, Seany, yeah, exact same. And it really was. And the hard work that the family have put in to get that. And, we played a small part in that. And Gav, you played a huge part within our small part, and it has to be said. To get that and to get that over the line, it is bigger than that we done, and it just shows. I'm not trying to throw smoke up our arse or anything here, but it's not about being the most popular or being likes and how many subscribers you have. These little things, which is a huge thing, it's bigger than anything anyone else will do. Getting 100,000 subscribers, 2 million subscribers. This is bigger than any of that. And to be a part of that, to have played the part in that is very, very, it's worth more than anything else we've done on this. From my point of view, certainly, to be involved in that has just been an absolute highlight of being involved in the podcasts. And it's just brilliant. Long may it last,
It's the biggest highlight for me, without a shadow of a doubt.
Go
on, Seany.
I echo everything that Keith said. Like, I've been doing this podcast now for, Jesus, going back to Klopp's force, probably 4 or 5 years now, and you always get a level at you, like, what you do that for, and what's the point? And like, I've met so many great people down the years, and I've met friends. I've met like proper friends who, no matter what happens going forward, that I'd call on them outside this podcast if ever need be, and vice versa. And you meet these lovely people, you do these things. Like, we went to Liverpool last week, but when you know in your heart of hearts that you've had a positive impact in some way or another on someone else's life, where it's to the lasting effect that we've effectively helped change that girl's life, going away, and seeing her going away, I was like Keith, I got a little bit emotional myself, and I can put my hand on my heart and say, as the LFC Daytrippers, this is the best thing that this podcast has ever done. And Gav, you owe yourself a massive pat on the back, because you burst your bollocks and you put it first in front of everything else, and you never let it slip out your head or your mind. It was every show you were back, and I know you don't want. I know you don't want.
No, do you know what I was going to say? I did. I'm not going to disagree.
It's
with
the
you.
absolute truth, and
I
you did it out
I did put it before everything else, but
and you did it out of goodness of your heart, Gavin. There was no ulterior motive. There was no. It was no. It wasn't for any other reason other than the own good, and you deserve a big fucking round of applause and fair play. And just no matter what happens going forward on this podcast, that you've helped change that little girl's life for the good, and you had a massive impact on it. And you know what? When it's all over, I hope we can all get together with Sienna's parents and we can all have a drink, meet up somewhere, because to be honest with you, it's really, really, like, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I did. I suppose I did put other stuff to the side, other opportunities to the side. With regards to sponsorship and people wanting to do this and do that, and I said no, you can't. because Sienna's in there and we're not, because what happens is you get people come along and they say to you, we want to sponsor this, but we want exclusivity on it, and they mean exclusivity. They don't want anything on it but them. And there was one in particular where I just said no, because Sienna's on that show and she's not being moved for nobody. That's as simple as that. I did put things aside. I never shut up about it, like doing people's heads in about it. But having said that, the people that are on these shows and the people that watch these shows also put up with it and also made it their prerogative, because let's be honest, like there's only so much of me saying, will you please help this girl that people can put up with, and then just go and turn that fucking off. But they haven't. They've absolutely done it from start to finish. They've constantly shared stuff. They've constantly, I've seen people multiple times donate to this. Multiple. I know, I can see them because I see what goes into the GoFundMe. I see what goes into tickets being sold. I see it all. And genuinely, it's the best thing we've ever done. And look, I'm not speaking for Phil or Andy or anybody that set up the Daytrippers originally. They might disagree, but I very, very much doubt that they will. It's the best thing we've ever done. And I said a couple of weeks ago, like, we've 11, nearly 12,000 subscribers. I'd take 12 subscribers if it meant that girl getting the money. And I said that a couple of weeks ago. And people thought that was in jest. It's not. But if you told me that I'd stay on this amount of subscribers now forever, but I'll help someone else in 6 months' time, or I'll help someone else in 12 months' time, I'm good with that. I'm absolutely good with that. Because the one thing I will tell you is that the 12,000 people that subscribe to this channel, support it, watch it, they're fucking amazing, to be honest with you. That chat is amazing. That is the best chat room you'll ever come across. Yeah. But not only that, they're the most genuine people you'll come across. So I think it's absolutely
there's Kev in the top corner there, like for as long as I can remember, Periscope and other shows, Kev commenting away on Twitter.
We have him on the cans now and all.
He is genuinely one of the most knowledgeable fellas you'll ever sit and listen to football about. I sit listening to football talk all day, and this has come from the chat and come from the community. It's no big ups or anything. He's at the coming on here, and he's an integral part of the team now, as I'd say. Even what he does in the chat and the moderators. We see the same names all the time, and people come and go, but it's just, look, if you'd had any input in this, fair play to yourself and fucking just back yourself, because look, it just goes to show when good people come together with fucking good in their heart, good things can happen, and this is absolutely brilliant news, and I'm so happy for Sienna, and I can't wait to see the journey now, because look, this is when it's going to get even tougher for the parents.
Listen, I mean, I've only been here 5 minutes, and like Shawnee said, I was in the chat for years. And I remember when you guys started the stuff with Cian, and the same people who are in the chat tonight were there then, and they shared it and they contributed, and they were here for the auctions, and they were winning prizes and all engaging and everything like that. And when things went sideways for me this year, all of you guys reached out to me privately, and you didn't have to. And other people who are involved in this show and other shows all helped me out in more ways than you'll ever know. And people in the chat as well, you've all been fantastic with me, and I'm forever grateful for it. But I know what it's like to have a sick child, and I know what it's like to have to ask for help as a parent of a sick child, and it's very difficult for what Sienna's parents have had to ask to do, and you don't know where to turn. And then when someone turns around and says, yeah, we can help, and then they follow through. And you guys in the chat especially, and you guys, in 3 months' time and in 6 months' time, when you see her coming through rehab and you see the photos and you see her at 5 and you see her at 7 and you see her communion pictures and everything that comes through, it's her parents will never ever have enough thank yous in them to be able to tell you. But from someone who's been there and walked that walk, it's an amazing thing that everyone has contributed to. You'll never know how much those parents are going to appreciate it, and how much I appreciated everything that you guys have done for me. And I just wanted to say thank you for everything. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've loved every minute of this.
Well, Midnight Poker asked a question, and Kev, that like, to be honest with you, if it was Kev, it was Keith, Seany, anyone in that chat, and I mean this, if anyone came to me and said, I have an issue, I have a problem, I need help, blah, 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 just ask. Because at the end of the day, right, and I mean this, we're just fucking idiots talking about football. And we're going to prove it now in about 5 minutes when we tell you about what we're going to do next, right? We are just saps talking about football. We're not here to, have fucking plaques telling us we've this and that. We're not here to tell you going here and going there. We are idiots watching football and meet up to watch it and have a drink.
Speak
And
for yourself, Gav. I'm a fucking expert.
No, you're an Egypt, right? Little Egypt, right?
I'm definitely fucking sapping.
Midnight Talker asks, has the marching band been ordered for Siena's first day at school? Now, this is where the family may thank us, but I don't think they want to know us come this stage. I don't know if we get away with the idea that I had, which was basically rockets and fucking fireworks and flares and all going off at the school. I don't think that'll go, but I reckon we get away with it at the gaff, right? So if she comes out for first day of school, right, and the milkman is fucking wandering around doing the milk and we're just absolutely hammering it with fireworks and all, I think it'd be the fucking crack. And she's the sort of girl that I'd love it, Sienna, because she's just, like, any video you see of her, she's fucking amazing. And to have that kind of, to have that issue that she has, to be so upbeat is unbelievable. Like, genuinely, like, I'm a 40-year-old man, right? And I go up in the morning and go, oh, he backs at me a bit. And my wife goes, oh, I fucking have to listen to him all fucking day. You know what I mean? And she's nearly sending me out to play golf or down the pub just to get rid of me, you know what I mean? But no, listen, we just want to give her a big mention because she's a brilliant kid. They're a brilliant family. They've shown great courage in asking for help. Because it's, like Kev said, it's not easy to do. There's a lot of pride involved at the times where you don't want to ask for help. But they've asked for help. We've played a small part in it. And it will go down for me until we probably do the next one, which we will do another one. Because I think that's what we should do now. We should just literally be a football podcast that just annoys people to help unfortunate kids that need something. But I just can't wait now to see her come home and do rehab and stuff like that. And we are going to have a night for her. Because I've asked Sienna's mother, I've told her to tour around, so basically, she's being held to that. So, but no, I just want to give it a big mention because not only us and us on screen, everyone with the Day Tripper, from other podcasts as well, that have been a brilliant help to us in everything we've tried to do, and especially the people in the chat. It's been the people in the chat, the people that download the audio version of this and then go and donate. People I've had that only listen to the download and come back and go, listen, give me the link with you, I want to donate and stuff like that. So it's been absolutely brilliant from start to finish. And with a bit of luck now, she's going to come home, and in a couple of months' time, we'll be able to go and see her and do a live video with her, and you can see exactly how it's going on. Before we go, our new thing is not starting on Tuesday, but we're going to do a show at 10 o'clock on Tuesday on our new channel. It won't be, the Trippers have a night off on Tuesday. We will be on the Man on Football show. So, this is world football with a difference. Basically what it is we're going to talk about football from all over the world, all the different leagues, but it's a bit different. We're not going to go into massive tactical fucking stuff. We're just going to have a chat. What's happening in Germany? What's happening in France, Spain, Italy, the MLS, international football, wherever it might be. Super League when it comes along. The Super League. The big elephant in the corner. Seany, we should get you a big blow up elephant and just put it behind you in the corner. What's that?
Johnny's got the Super League correspondent.
What's his name, Seany? That's the Super League.
It's like Donnie Darko. You can't see it, but I can.
Seany, what's that elephant in the corner? That's the Super League over there. Sure. But no, and this is what we're going to do. I have to, without giving too much away, Seany is, Keith is going to do a show once a month, which I think is going to be fucking brilliant, by the way. It's going to educate all of us, and it's going to be amazing. But Keith is mad into his South American football, so we're going to cover that. And we're looking for the weird and wonderful, aren't we, lads? Seany, we're looking for the weird and wonderful that goes on in football, and we're going to chat around it, and we're going to start picking teams in different countries, and we're going to support them, aren't we?
It doesn't even have to be, do you know what? Do you know what's a great, it's a great drug. I think nostalgia is the best drug of all. You know what I mean? And there's so many different football stories that we can dip into, and cult heroes and fucking mental stories. you seen what was going on last night in Brazil in that international match. Just
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
there's stuff like that we can always go over. Like I was chatting with my mate the other day, and he goes to me like, "Did you ever see Rene Higuita like doing rainbow flicks on the edge of his box, trying to nutmeg strikers and all them? Two are just pissing ourselves out. Like it won't lose that Trippers appeal. Like you said, we're not all experts, but we just want to come on and talk.
No, we just want to have a laugh with this, don't we?
Yeah.
We want
Nostalgia does great things to people. There's so much we could talk about, get into, like, you know what I mean? Like fucking Ali Dia and stuff like that, you know what I
We
mean?
can educate as well, Sean. You put me word to Magico Gonzalez from El Salvador. Was he playing for Cadiz? I'd never heard of him. And Shawnee put me word to him. And these little players, you know, you look over them and you read up on them, and there's so many great stories. And what we're doing is we're not tying ourselves to Liverpool, which we all love talking about Liverpool. We do it all the time. We're just broadening the spectrum.
Because what happens is when we come across something on this show or any of our shows during the week and it's non-Liverpool, you will get people going, "Oh, that's brilliant," but other people going, "This is a Liverpool channel. Why are you fucking talking about, you know, some mad stuff that's happened to fucking Fiorentina or something like that?" Whereas this one allows us to. The Liverpool had to be off. You know, this would be us talking about football. Yeah. We are going to start supporting clubs from all over the world, and we're going to be updating you every week. Just to let you know, spoiler alert, our Spanish team will be Cadiz, because if it's not Cadiz, Sean, you'll have a meltdown. But we
need to know about the city as well. We need to know about the area. It's not just good enough.
Yeah. We're going to cover all that.
About the club.
We're going to cover all that. Area. We're going to have a laugh twice a week. We're hoping to do it for an hour at a time. And listen, if you're not into different football around the world, it doesn't matter. Come in, because we're going to have a bit of laugh. We're going to have a bit of laugh about it. We're going to pick up mad stuff that's going on.
Well, then as well, Gab, we want to give kind of power to the viewers, so we want them to steer it as well.
Exactly. So that's where the whole support and stuff comes in. So we want you to join us on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So what we're going to do is we're going to record it on the new channel, and then we're going to release the video on our channel. Like, we're going to release it onto our channel to show people what it's about, and we're also going to release the audio onto our audio feed so people can find out where it is. The link is in the description to subscribe, so make sure you do that. But when it comes to Tuesday, we're just going to have a nice chat on Tuesday night from 10 o'clock for about an hour about what we want to do, what you would like to see us do, and what teams you want us to support, i.e. Cadiz in Spain is definitely nailed on. So... You know,
and not Bayern Munich.
No,
not Dortmund.
No. Like I really
want to be a little bit creative.
Yeah, I really want to like pick a random French team, and we'll talk about French football in general if stuff's going on. But then we give you an update on this team. I want to pick a mad team in Scotland. Definitely, because Scotland is mad, so I want to definitely pick one there. So it's
anybody outside the old firm. Then.
Yeah, no, but I want to pick Elgin. I want to support Elgin. You know the sort
What's
of way.
His face scored for Hearts this weekend? Ben Woodburn scored for Hearts this weekend.
That's how he did.
It's one of those where literally we're gonna have a laugh. We're gonna pick up the best stories of the week from world football while discussing what's going on in those leagues, and we're literally gonna have the crack. But I can promise you, the stuff Keith is doing with regards to this show that's monthly, and if it turns out well, we probably haven't done it weekly because it'd be that good. Shawnee knows his European stuff, Keith knows the South American stuff. I'm gonna get mad into Scottish second division stuff, and we're just gonna have to crack twice a week because
we do Irish football as well. I guess Shawnee done that.
We do Irish football.
We get Dunnar on.
Yeah, we get
David Lennon is saying the Nordy League, so don't have it.
Yeah, but Dunner's gone bipolar because he's a Sligo fan, and 2 weeks ago he was fucking stringing the manager up, and yesterday was the best performance he's seen from a team since Brazil in the '70 World Cup. So it's one of those. But listen,
we look to get the likes of Conan from Villa on and all and stuff like that.
And, not only that, we're going to try get fans from MLS clubs. We're going to try get people from Germany, Spain, France, Italy, wherever we can find them, and bring them on. It's going to be a mix of us three having the chat, maybe interviews that are pre-recorded, loads of stuff. So that's what we're trying to do. So the link is in the description. Man on Football Show. Everyone that's in here, if you subscribe. If you don't, it'll be just me, Keith, Shawnee, and 8 people having a chat. But it doesn't fucking matter to us. It genuinely doesn't matter. So that's what it's all about.
When we adopt a team from the Venezuelan third division and the Copa Libertadores,
do you know what we should do? We should look up James Rodriguez. We should look up who he supports, right? And then we could follow them on Instagram. And as soon as you follow anyone in Colombia on Instagram, you're a bigger club than Liverpool. So
There you go.
there you go.
The Duffys.
Their podcast will be bigger than Liverpool if we can just follow and we can just research James Rodriguez. So that's
There, Natasha Dube says in there, time to get on the St. Pauli bandwagon. There you go. St. Pauli are a bleeding mad bunch.
Yeah, St. Pauli are a mad bunch. I know a bit about them. I don't know if it's a bit of an obvious shout, Natasha, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Bit
mean?
hipster. We need to go even more hipster than St. Pauli.
Yeah, we need to go.
You want to be looking at Union Berlin or something.
Yeah.
I want someone that has
Dynamo Dresden or
I want someone that literally has a massive hot dog as a mascot. I want something like that's the reason why we should support them. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
That's got to be MLS, isn't it?
You know, and MLS stuff.
Cracked up.
I want to
team in Cincinnati or something.
Yeah, someone mad. You know what I mean? Where we go, we know nothing about them. Start tapping into them.
Pittsburgh Pigeons or something. Bleeding. You never know what they'll be coming out in that MLS.
Yeah,
but we'll be doing top 10s and all of this mad stuff and all. It'll be great crack. Tune in, we'll have to laugh. So, anything else?
What's going to happen is we're going to try, as I said, do it twice a week. We'll try to get into a rhythm where it might be, say, Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to try to do it around 8:30, 9. Around that time instead of the 10 o'clock, so we don't clash with what we're doing here because we are on most nights of the week. And as I said, come on, have the bit of crack, bring a drink. It's not going to be tactical analysis. It's going to be, did you see a man who jumped up on the fence during the week in the German third division? It's going to be all that sort of stuff, and we're just going to have a right bit of crack. So make sure to hit the link in the description, hit subscribe, and as I said, if you like what we do here, this is going to be off the wall stuff that we're going to do. So
Midnight Talk was trying to shout in there the strongest. They could be our adopted team in South America. They're from Bolivia. I won a fortune on them on an accumulator once. So if you want to get
you must have been fucking down bad if you are betting on the Bolivian games. Holy Jesus!
The South American one, Seany, that's where I was doing it, and it's all in the middle of the night. So you put your little accumulator on, you get up the next day.
Next morning and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like going in for your overnight outs in the morning. You do be buzzing to open up your.
That's it. Wake up. How did Millonarios in Colombia get on? Win. Nacional win. Penarol win. I'm only waiting on the strongest. Get in there. Great days.
But we have to pick them on like what's the boozers like around the place as well. Because like if we decide to go over to somewhere in say France or Spain or Italy or Germany or Scotland, they have to have a good couple of boozers. You can't be going somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I won't be having it. You know what I mean?
We're not going to Peru because the last version that went to Peru ended up doing porridge, so we're not going over there.
Yeah, all right.
They got a good book deal though.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So listen, we can't go into that because we'll be shut down before we even fucking start. Right, that is it. That has been the Fatback 4. It's been a brilliant show for Sunday night. Even though Liverpool lost, it's been an absolutely brilliant show. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Been amazing as always. Just for the rest of the week, me and Phil had a chat a couple of weeks ago on a show, the forum I think it was, the two of us, and we got mad into how Middlesbrough were mental in the 90s, and genuinely Middlesbrough were fucking mental in the 90s, right? And like Terry Venables turning up and pretending not to be the manager was the best thing I can ever remember, right? So me and Phil tomorrow night are coming back, but we're literally going to talk about 90s madness in the Premier League, which will be heavily about how Middlesbrough are mental in the 90s. So go and check that out tomorrow. That's Monday. We're off on Tuesday because we're doing our new channel, and we're going to have a bang at that. Wednesday is going to be the midweek fix, but I think we're going to lash a quiz or a draft in there. Thursday will be Carnage. Friday will be Sports Unplugged. We might do something special on that, unless there's loads of sports coming up. I'm sure Kev will let me know.
Question of Sport would be a good show, actually.
Oh, Question of Sport on Friday night?
Yeah.
Friday night. I'll do that, Kev. Do you want to do that?
You crack on, yeah.
What do you mean you crack on? You're fucking doing it.
You're doing it. You're the boss, man. You're doing the work.
Yeah, all right. We do a Question of Sport on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm just a flash bird in the corner.
Okay.
All right.
We weeded out the cheaters, so should be clean sailing. They're gone.
So
no corruption, anti-corruption version of it.
So a Friday night Question of Sport. There we've booked that as we speak, and Saturday we're off. Sunday we're back with the Fatback 4, and the Fatback 4 next Sunday will be different because it's international break, and I usually end up spending all the Saturday trying to find stuff to annoy Seany with, which is the fucking crack. Usually just go around mid-80s wallpaper patterns, and Seany just fucking goes mental, loses the plot. So that's it. Midnight Talker says, just to finish off, he says, cheer me up at the end. Up the Reds, Sienna. Take it easy, day trippers. Good man. Right, that is it. I promise. That's the Fatback 4. We are out of here. Good luck.